You ain't gotta lie to kick it, my nigga. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie.
Welcome in, everybody, to episode 23 of You Ain't Got a Lie podcast. I'm your co-host, Two Wavy Jason, aka JCHD, and who am I with today?
Your boy F Money or Money for sure. How's everybody doing today? How's your day going, Jay?
My day's going good, man. How about you?
It's going great.
All right, so we got some topics for y'all. We got some topics, and we actually have a guest. You know, we try not to do too many guests, but we do have a guest who's going to be with us today. But first and foremost, the topics we're going to talk about. So the topics for today we're going to talk about is men and women roles in relationships and marriage. Basically, we're going to give our opinion on, how we think the dynamics should go or how our current dynamics work. And then we're going to move along to coaching and mentorship. We're going to move along to coaching and mentorship.
And then we're going to have a fin zone.
Yes, we're going to finish with the fin zone, which Money is very excited for, especially after a Thursday night game with the Miami Dolphins. So, without further ado, Money, tell us about our guest today.
We're going to have my cousin Kendrick on. He's a diehard Dolphins fan, and I'm excited to hear his opinions.
All right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Kendrick. Kendrick, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us on our podcast we do once a week. How are you feeling today, sir?
Good. Enjoying the Florida weather. Feel good. Enjoying the day off.
No, yeah.
Have it better than
Friday. You can't beat Friday. Has Money informed you on the topics we're talking about, or are you going to have to freestyle?
He did inform me of some
all
of the
right,
things you guys have been talking about today. And
some people like to go in and
definitely
just speak blindly. I personally like to be a little prepared. So, all right, the first one we're going to start off with men and women roles in relationships. Money, you want to take the lead on this one?
Yes, I'll take the lead on this one. Okay, so I'll say with man and woman roles, I'll say my perspective on that is, as the man, you're looked at as to protect and provide, and you're usually the main decision maker, and the woman is usually the caregiver. Does a lot with the house. Usually takes care of the kids. I'll say some of the things you have to work on with the marriage is nurturing the marriage and how you're going to bring up the kids. I'll say making sure you all are on the same page. I'll say things like disciplining, because some parents don't always like to discipline their kids, some do. So I'll say you have to make sure you're both having the same goals and everything regarding the marriage.
Okay. What about you, Kendrick?
I pretty much got the same perspective. A woman, her job is to nurture, make the house a home, if you will. Take care of the children. I like to say the mother's job to take care of the children up to maybe 7, 8 years old. After that, it's the father's job to actually teach that child how to survive in many ways. It could be, teaching them how to, how to speak, how to present themselves, how to shake a man's hand, or how to, how to express themselves, how to deal with pain, how to deal with, a lot of different things that come up in life. So I feel like that's the father's job to kind of take that on. In terms of a man's role, your job is to protect, provide for the family. The buck stops with you. Your job is to keep order in the household. Everybody is supposed to, the man serve God. And the woman, provides nurtures the family. So that's my perspective.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give y'all a little pushback. You both basically said, traditional relationships and marriages, how things were, but the world we live in, y'all know it's a lot of crazy stuff out there. We got all types of different things going on. And so I think it varies on your relationship, because ultimately, I personally believe it comes down to what you're okay with. And when I say that it's now we're hearing a lot about stay-at-home dads. You know what I'm saying? And if you are in a position where your wife is the breadwinner, and she's like, baby, all I need you to do is stay home, watch the kids, and clean the house. Then, hey, my nigga, you might need to clean the house, keep the house clean. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, you have to be okay with that. If you can't, if you're not a man that can be like, you know what, my wife got it, I'm gonna just stay home. If that's not you, then it's not gonna work. And you got to be upfront about that. A lot of people find themselves in situations and they're not expressing how they feel about it. Some men, a lot of men actually, aren't okay with their wife making more money than them. So, you can have a good job too. You can have a job making, 70, 80K a year, but your wife happens to be, a director for some engineering company making 250,000 a year. And so a lot of men can't accept that, because she is the breadwinner between the two of you. And so you got to put yourself in a position to where both parties accept their roles. If you want a woman that's going to be able to clean, sadly nowadays a lot of women ain't trying to be housewives. They trying to get the benefits of being a housewife, but they don't want to actually do the work of a housewife. So
You definitely said it.
so I think that is the
You
biggest
definitely
thing:
said it.
finding ways that everyone can fit into their role and what they're willing to accept and what they're willing to, compromise on.
I'll say another thing is, if you want to have kids, you have to be careful with the woman that you
Yes.
marry, because the woman is the child's first teacher. If you think about it, because men is about discipline, and if something happens with school or whatever, they're gonna call the dad first. But the mom, she's if you have a mom that listens to Cardi B all the time, as an example, and she's like that, then hey, good luck.
To be fair, we don't know Cardi personally. She might be a great mom, so don't do that. We don't know her personally. Her music, on the other hand, says
I'm not saying.
otherwise.
I'm
But
saying about music. I'm saying about music.
but that's fair. That's a fair point to make.
I just, I just think there's some biology aspect to that as well. And I think I read something in the paper the other day. It said if dads stay home, they would lose a lot of their testosterone.
Mm,
And there's a hormonal imbalance inside us, balance that we need to keep. It helps us stay vital and everything else, but we also have to think about biology as well. And I think when a man is staying at home caring for a baby, it really affects his testosterone, him wanting to do some of the things he needs to do as a man.
okay, that's an interesting angle that I didn't know about. I mean, it makes sense though because you're doing something naturally. Like even we go back to the caveman, who went and got the food. You know what I'm saying? So you're doing something that's naturally isn't done by men. So I can definitely see that being like but once again, it takes a different type of dude. And hey, this is You Ain't Got a Lot of podcasts. I'm gonna be real. When we see these men who are stay-at-home dads, you look at them and you say, "You seem like a stay-at-home dad." so, so I understand
I
that.
know a three or four of them myself, and you know, you know, they're different.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
can
It
just say
takes
that
it
they're
takes a
different.
different type
They're
of man
different.
to be able to. And personally, I think a thing that would bother me, like if my future wife was fortunate enough to get in a position to where she's a breadwinner and she says, "Baby, I just need you to stay home and take care of the kids." I don't think I could accept, for example, let's say our kid's an athlete, right? And I'm the stay at home dad, so I'm taking them to all the practices, I'm at all the games, but mom's the breadwinner. So she might not be able to make all the games. She might not be able to make all the practices. And me showing up for our kid like, hey, I'm here for you, I'm here for you. And they're like, oh, where's mom? Mom's not gonna be able to make it. And just see that distraught feeling. Like, damn, I'm not good enough. I'm just second fiddle to your mama. So I think that would bother me a lot because obviously I think it'll create a rift in us because like I'd be like, yo, he wants you here. Why are you not showing up? And then she's obviously, well, I'm working. I'm trying to provide for this family, and it's gonna. I think that where me and my future wife would butt heads if I was to have to take on that role of a stay at home dad.
I don't think I could do it,
Yeah,
bro.
man, that's
I'm gonna just
tough.
be real with you because it like
I mean, if you had to do it for a short while,
Yeah, a short while. I think
you fell on hard
right.
times, maybe 6 months to a year. If you had to do it, I think it would make sense. But for the rest of your life,
Ugh.
I
I
don't
agree.
know how you know traditionally speaking how a woman could respect you for you playing your role in a relationship.
I feel like she don't
That's
to a
another
certain
big
extent.
thing.
Yeah, I think she. I don't want to say she don't respect you, but it's definitely like I don't know. From my experiences,
She don't respect you the same.
the women I've seen who have stay at home dads, they're like you said, they're different type of men. Those are different type of women. You know what I'm saying? The way they handle themselves and carry themselves. So
Exactly.
I don't know, man. I think it goes back to my point. Everyone accepting their roles, and if you accept her, Stuart, you were supposed to have the dishes washed by the time I came home. You know what, baby? You was right. I was being lazy. Like, who? It takes a certain type of man unless somebody talk to you like that. So,
Right, right, right. And we full of testosterone,
right,
so respect is like
that's a big
a
thing.
priority for men. We go to wars, we go to everything and die every day about respect. And it's one of those things you got for at the natural state. You got to have it in your household.
That's a big thing for me. Like, I was talking to this one young lady, and like everything was going good, and then we had our first argument. You know, if you're seeing each other, you're gonna have arguments. And Shorty just went off. She started cussing me out and stuff like this, and I'm like, oh, uh, I didn't like any of that. So I gave her time to, because I'm hot headed myself. I realize when I'm wrong, and one thing I try to be, knowing I'm hot headed,
Oh,
is very quick to apologize and acknowledge, like, hey, I might have overreacted, money. I didn't mean to throw your control outside. I was tripping. I'm sorry. So that's one thing I try to do. Obviously, I'm working on it. I feel like money knows me. I've gotten better since we were kids. So I've got a lot better since we were kids. But with that being said, you
can
know,
second that.
right. You got to be able to acknowledge when you're wrong. So I was waiting for her to come back. Hey, babe, you know what? I'm sorry for talking to you like that. So a couple days went by, and I was like, and she reached out to me. She was like, so you got nothing to say? I was like, I was just, waiting for you to apologize. She says, I feel like you owe me an apology. I was all types of bitches and hoes when we was talking. How do I owe you an apology? I didn't call you out your name once. So it showed me like, you know what? This particular woman isn't for me because I can't do that. My
Yeah,
grandma ain't talk to me like that. My mama ain't talk to me like that. You're not gonna talk to me like
yeah.
that. And then you can't even come
You,
back
you
and
know why you couldn't
apologize.
deal with that? Because
The part
she's
that
that
to me, that's
masculine
another.
masculine energy.
Yeah.
Does like you can't have two men in the household. Just as how I feel.
Also is the taking accountability.
Yes.
When you've done wrong, we always talk about women taking accountability. I think that's a struggle, especially in our culture. So, I don't know what it is. It's a Cinderella syndrome. I have no idea, but it is a, a vast lack of accountability.
My only speculation, and I could be out of bounds with this, but I feel like, and it's on us as men. I feel like a lot of those single parent
Agree.
households is because of that.
Hmm.
So you're growing up without a father. You don't have a man to show you how a man should act. What's a man's responsibilities? Everything he takes
One
on,
thousand
whatever.
percent.
So I think that plays a bbig part.
One
And
thousand.
from what I've seen, once again, these are all my personal experiences. So what I've seen with Hispanic women, they're raised to be housewives. They're raised to cater to their man. They're raised to when the man says this, you say this, you take care of the kids. And black women are raised to be strong, independent women. And it's nothing wrong with being an independent woman, but when you have this mindset of like, I don't need nobody, I want somebody to need me. I want to need somebody. Like I want to need my
Yeah,
wife. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a difference between needing
yeah,
somebody and
yeah.
depending on someone. And it's like those are like a perfect blend of a marriage. You depend on your wife. You need your wife. You know what I'm saying? I want to be needed. I want to depend on
I
somebody.
would,
I got
I
something for
would
you, Jay.
say, I don't think,
No, go ahead,
Go ahead,
Kendrick.
guys. Go ahead.
I don't think it's, I think it's U.S.
Mm,
women, not just, you know, Latin,
right.
because for the most part, when the women come over to the U.S., they take on the U.S. culture. And I think the independent woman in the feminist movement, I think, teaches women to kind of be independent and take care of yourself first. And it doesn't really coincide with having family and the traditional route, to be honest with you. And I always talk to Bunny about, the children are top priority. I mean, you have to put the children first for the most part, but also you can't lose the connection between mother and father. The children are a beneficiary from the mother and
Correct.
father. What happens a lot of times is sometimes parents put too much effort into their children and they lose the relationship. And I could see in our culture, for whatever reason, we just can't figure it out
Yeah.
in terms of staying together. And it affects the children. We got children running around. We got, especially in our culture, they're killing each other as a product of a broken household. They're in foster care. They hurt. They just, it's a big problem. And we're not, to me, I think the only thing to solve it is family.
And it's disheartening. You hit it right on the head, man. It's so disheartening because like I think I may be wrong because I'm not cultured in every culture, but I'm like we're one of the few, if not the only one, where we have racism in our own race. How often do we hear light skins
Yeah,
against dark skins? You know what I'm saying? So it's little things like that that's gonna keep piling on top of the bigger things, and we're gonna stay divided. And it's sad. It's sad and very for me. It's
yeah,
very disheartening that we can't come together. We'll see. It's especially in Lakeland where me and Money is from. It's you see all the time someone struggling, someone handing out their CDs like, "Oh man, you gonna make it big, you gonna make it big," and it's like, all right, then he do make it big. Look at him, think he better than everybody. Why you don't support him? You was just talking about something he gonna make it big. So was that lie? Was you just telling him what he wanted to hear? And it's I don't know, it's always sad to me. It's sad and it's very disheartening to me.
I totally agree. I'll say this though, Jay. Here's something we got to think about, right? With the women, here's something that they probably didn't have is any healthy relationships. It could come from grandparents. It could come from parents. It could come from aunt and
Yes.
uncle. Because I'll say Kendrick can he can agree with this. We've seen healthy relationships from if it wasn't our parents, we have our grandparents. They still been together for what 60 years almost.
That's beautiful.
We have aunt and uncles who been together till either with my till death did them part, or then we had another one who's been together for years. So I'll say it's all about having healthy relationships around you also that can make a big difference.
I agree.
also choosing your partner, and I don't like to use the word partner, but significant other. Um, Choosing your significant other, you have to identify what a healthy person looks like.
Absolutely.
And I think we have lost what that looks like. And there's so many broken people. Um, I say all the time, you have to look at a person's family and how they maintain relationships, any relationship, friendship, um, the family. You look at someone and they got no family, no friends. To me, that's a red flag in itself. How you maintain a relationship. You go overseas. I work overseas a lot. They won't work with you unless you're married.
Oh wow.
Why? Because or when I say work with you, do business with you, because if you can't maintain your household or your relationship, how you expect to maintain this business relationship? So that's the way they see it.
Mm.
And I feel that's true in life as well. If you're in a relationship, you have no skill. Keep, building a relationship and keep a relationship going is a skill. It'll probably be one of the most difficult things you'll do in your life, but the most rewarding as well. Because if you can take two people, two income, two everything, and build them
Right.
together, you go up much faster.
That's a good way to look at it. And I think you guys are right because you having that example, you see it. Like I dealt with one young lady when I was younger, and she was like, she told me because we would have arguments, whatever. And I'm not an arguer. That's something I still struggle with this day. I can't argue with you. Like I don't have it in me because when I was younger, I was so violent to the first like word. We could just fight. And so obviously I'm not gonna fight a woman, so I bottle things in. And like I said, I still struggle with that to this day, like not bottling in and expressing myself. But like I won't say anything, I'm not gonna argue. And one woman, a young lady at the time, we were like 23, 24. She told me straight up, she was like, she ended the relationship with me. We were seeing each other for like 3 months. She ended the relationship with me. And she was like, I just feel like you don't care about me. I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, oh, when a man really loves you, he'll put his hands on you. What? She's like, you never once even raised your hand at me. I was like, what? Like, I was dumbfounded. But it goes back to that example. Sadly, she probably grew up seeing her mom get hands put on her. And so she has programmed her brain to think a man don't love you unless he put his hands on you. And it's sad. It's sad, and it's like I said, it starts with us. We need more fathers in those households. Real men, not no, you know what I'm saying, no cowards and all that stuff. We need more real men setting that example.
Yeah. You know, you got to look at Clint, you know, Money's parents, and they're another one. You know, they've been together for a long time, and they're a great example too.
Yes.
You know, they have their ups and downs just like everybody else, but you know what they've been able to build together and raise the children together. That's success.
Absolutely.
You know, when you lay down and you got that light over your head, and they tell you got a little bit of time left, and you got the person holding your hand and say, "Hey, I got you," and we doing this together. To me, that's what matters.
And it gives you a big confidence too. Like, it gives you a big confidence boost knowing, like, you know, if I fall, they got my back. You know what I'm saying? And going back to what you said earlier, Kendrick, is as humans, we need companionship. Like, I don't like when people's like, oh, I don't need nobody. You need something. You need something to somebody. Everyone needs it. And it's like, well, I've been single for 10 years. I don't need nobody. And my first question whenever I hear someone say they don't need nobody, do you have any pets? Oh, yeah, I got 3 cats. That's your companionship. No, it doesn't matter where you get it. We humans, we need companionship.
Yeah.
So people will have pets and they'll be like, oh, I don't need nobody. Well, you have a pet. No one wants to be alone in any capacity. If you don't have any pets, you're not in a relationship, you don't have no family, you're going to be depressed. You're going to be depressed in a sad life. You have no one to talk to. No.
Yeah. 1,000%.
And Kendrick knows Kendrick about to get married. This 10-10?
Congrats.
Yeah, get married. I appreciate you.
Better send me some pictures.
Pictures? You not gonna be there?
Unless I'm invited.
I'm about to say you're not gonna be there.
Unless I'm not invited now.
Well, it's a courthouse wedding.
Okay.
It's you know, we can only invite few people.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know, in a couple years we'll do the big thing. Sure.
No, that's smart. That's actually what my favorite sports personality did. Him and his wife eloped, and he told her, "Hey, in 5 years, baby, we gonna have a nice wedding." Well, 5 years turned to 15 years because right around that time, his career kept going up. Because in his mind, he just wanted to do radio, and he kept getting these opportunities. Like, "Hey, you want to be on TV?" He's like, "I'm a radio guy. Why would I be on TV?" But he kept getting put in these situations, and then fast forward now, he's on television. So they had to push the wedding back. You know, they were legally married and stuff, but they had to. And so I want to say either last year or the year before last, him and his wife finally had their official, wedding.
That's what my marriage counselors did. They went to a courthouse, and then they were like, I think it was the 10th year. They were like, let's do a big cruise wedding, and that's
dope though.
I just found out from our Aunt Pearl that they were married for 15 years, and I mean, they in their 15-year marriage, that's when they had their big wedding. I thought,
wow,
I thought they had the big wedding in the beginning,
Right.
but they didn't. They waited 15 years, and now they've been married 60-something years.
That's love right there, man.
Till our uncle, he recently, so
Passed away.
Yeah. Sorry for your loss. But all right, y'all ready to move on to our next topic?
this is Kendrick. This is it. Hey, this is Kendrick topic right here. He love this one.
Okay, next we're going to talk about the importance of coaching and mentorship. I'm assuming in youth or in young men, period, correct? All right, Money, go ahead.
Yes.
I'll say, I think it makes a huge difference because a lot of these players don't have father figures in their life, and that coach could be the father figure. I'll say, they'll mentor them. I'll say there's some coaches that'll take you under their wing, like, hey, I think you could be a better player than what I think you are. I'll say one thing. I'll say most of my examples will probably include my dad because I really didn't coach a lot, or I'll say I didn't really get mentorship a lot by my coaches, but I remember my dad. He would take some of them guys under his wing. Like, I remember it was a player. I'm not gonna mention his name because he recently sadly passed away. But my dad coached him as a youth, and his parents ended up, talking to him, and it was like, hey, our son recently passed away, and my dad, he felt bad about it, and he even attended the young man's funeral, and I'll say, he would always talk to him and let him know, hey, I think you could be something, and he did that with all our players, all his players. Jonathan Brother was one of the players that my dad mentored, and now he's going for I think his master's degree.
Oh wow.
So, so yeah, he's mentored a few players. The ones that even Jared were close with, and I'll say I think he made a really big impact on those players' lives.
What you think, Kendrick?
I grew up in a single mother household for the most part. Um, and I just remember being so angry growing up, um, not having my father around. And for the most part, he kind of kept me away.
Hmm.
Um, as much as I was angry, it did fuel me when it came to sports and football. It was the edge I needed to be really good at football. But I remember as much as it gave me the edge to be good at football, it destroyed every relationship around me. I was a ticking time bomb. And these days, the kid called them crash out dummies, right?
Hmm.
They call them crash out teams. But that's what it was back then. It was just crash out teams and willing to do any and everything
Right.
because I was in the inside broken. Um, I didn't have, fast forward when my dad took me away from my mother, and I finally got a chance to see the sense of family. My dad's side of the family, everybody's family oriented, everybody's tight. My grandmother's a good teacher. She taught me I mean, a lot of things. Um, she's been a blessing to me. She was my biggest mentor. And it kind of calmed a little bit of the lion inside. I wanted to pass on that love and mentorship to other children. So I went into coaching. My first opportunity, my nephew started playing football, and I said, you know what, I'm going to coach. It's my opportunity to give back to my community and also teach my nephew. In that, I found that a lot of young men come from single parent households and they have terrible attitude, undisciplined. The mothers didn't have control over them. They basically did what they want. They had no structure. So I said, I'm gonna come apart. I'm gonna come in their life and act structure. I'm gonna give them something to live for and look forward to. Fast forward 13 years later, coaching. Um, I didn't. I look back and I see how many lives I affected. I had about 2 years ago. I had about 200 children within that program that I was coaching in go to college.
Oh wow.
All of them stay in contact with me, and they still come back and thank me and say, "Hey, you saved my life." Just to see those young men go from broken to having an opportunity to do something with themselves is the biggest blessing ever. Not only does it help the children, but it helps the community. If you don't go back and give out to your community, you can't complain about what's going on in your
That's
community.
facts.
If I could teach one person to teach one child who is a generation in the future, the next generation in the future, how to provide for themselves and how to do good in their life, then maybe that would stop them from putting a gun to my head at some point, robbing me for another person
Oh wow,
and ended their life.
that was well said. I didn't know you coach, and that's definitely a dope thing. I sadly think nowadays it's not as many good coaches as it was when we were younger. Like I know the biggest coach who had an impact in my life was a man named Coach Davis. Coach Davis, for whatever reason, always looked out for me, and I don't know why. Like I was the kid with a bad attitude from a single parent household. My biological father, I met him once in my life when I was 12, and I never seen him again. And so, and side note, he recently reached out to my mom and blamed her for our relationship being destroyed. And I'm like, no, that's yeah. I'm like, no, that's on you. Even as an adult, you could have easily, asked my mom for my number or something like that. But that's another conversation for another day. But he wasn't in my life in the same way with how you was. I was the same way in sports. Like I just used it to be the best. And the thing that really sparked the dog in me for sports is when that time I met him. He took me. I have an older brother. We both met him for the same time. It was my first time meeting my older brother and my biological father. And he took both of us to Alabama where he lives for the summer. And we was there the whole summer, and it was an awful summer. It was very awful. I mean, I met my aunt and my grandmother. They're very loving women. And the last day I was there, I was leaving. I told Biden, my grandmother, told like, hey, I'm leaving, whatever. It's like, all right, love you, whatever. I went to my aunt, and she's in the kitchen crying. And I'm like, what's wrong, auntie? And she was like, I'm just happy I got to meet you before, God calls me home. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I'll come back to visit you. And she looks at me. I'm a kid. And she looks at me. She's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so I go downstairs. After, I gave her a big hug. And I go downstairs to say bye to my uncles. And my uncle's down there. He hands my older brother, like, a new Jordan basketball, some new Jordan shoes, a whole little Jordan little shirt with some Jordan, like a whole decked them out. You gonna be the one, cause we played sports up there with our father, and like he was doing all right, and so they was like, you gonna be the one, you stick with ball, you gonna be like that or whatever, this and the third, and I was like, hey uncle, I'm finna leave, and he looks at me, he's like, all right, be easy, man. You telling you nephew, and goes back to my brother, you gonna be like that, you stick with it, you gonna be like that. So that lit the fire. After that, 3-sport athlete, killing everybody. And fast forward, my senior year of high school, had a bunch of scholarship offers to different places. And by the senior year of high school, my older brother, he was arrested 2 or 3 times, had 3 or 4 kids already. And fast forward now, he had like 8 or 10 kids. 2 of them he can't see legally. And it's just like he was given, at least at the time, I feel like he was given the love that I wanted from that side of the family that I didn't get, which motivated me to go even harder. And unfortunately for him, he didn't have, I won't say he didn't have a good life, but I feel like a teenager having a kid makes your life a lot harder. And so he was a teen with a child, and now he's unfortunately in a situation where, like, I would never want to be in a position where I can't legally see my children. Yeah, so that he's been in and out, like I said, he's been in and out of jail and stuff like that. So I feel like that was a big turning point for me. And even after all that, the scholarships and stuff like that, I did all that for him to be like, son, I'm proud of you. And I never got to hear it. And I think that's what really broke my heart. Like I had a bad breakdown once, and I was like my mom, and I was like, I don't know why he don't want me. I'm doing everything. I got scholarships to places. Like, this is when I thought he would pop back in my life. And nope, didn't want anything to do with me. So yeah, but like I was saying, I don't think it's as many good coaches as it used to be. Coach Davis was real impactful in my life. It was a point I wanted to quit football, and Coach Davis was like, "Let me talk to you, Jay. Let me talk to you." So he asked me why I want to quit. I'm like, "Well, I don't want to play because of X, Y, and Z," and had a real heart to heart with me. And he was like, "Let me ask you something. What's your favorite sport?" And at the time, I was like, "Basketball." And he was like, "Have you actually gave football a genuine chance, or do you just be out there to be out there?" And I was like, what do you mean I try every day? He was like, nah, have you actually really put effort into really putting work in and being better and competing? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I don't think you have. He's like, I want you to come to practice with that same mindset you have for basketball that you would when we play football. And so I was like, all right, whatever. And that's when everything switched. That's when like, you know how they say the game slows down? That's when it slowed down for me. And it was honestly crazy to see in real time, because I'm like, is this what they mean? Like, okay, cool. So yeah, so Coach Davis was huge in my life. And another thing people don't realize is a coach is a teacher. You don't have too many, good, when they have to understand that each student or players, as we call them, is different. You can't get onto a player the same way you get on another player. I know my biggest flaws in the athlete was you couldn't yell at me. I would shut down you yell at me because I don't like disappointing people. So my coach yelling at me, Jay, you got to be better than that. And I shrink. And so, Coach Davis knew that's not how you get to me. So he come over, he's like, hey, you all right?
Yeah.
You still the best one out there. You had a bad play. You going to bounce back. You going to bounce back. The fact that he still believed me, even though I made a misstep, was a big deal. That's what always motivated me.
Yeah.
And so I think that's ultimately the biggest thing. We need more good coaches. We don't have good coaches like that anymore.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually thought about one. Coach Marber. I ran my best times under Coach Marber. He did different things to motivate me. And I'll say, to this day we're still close with his family. And he was, the coach that did, take me under his wing and be like, hey, I think you're better than the times you're running. Because, like I said, I ran my best times. Actually would go to Lake Hollingsworth and actually run. Little did people know, to run better times. And I remember that one time, I remember that meet that the 800 and the mile was back to back. It was like one of the first meets of the season. And I ran both of them. And the coach was like, hey, my goal, I think I ran the 800 and the mile. And my goal was just not to get last at that time because I was like so winded. And the coach was like, you could have sat out there. And I'm like, nah. I was too much of a competitor, though. I was like, nah, you signed me up for it, I'm going to run it. I ran it, but, the results weren't the greatest. I think I ran like a 6-minute something mile, bro. But I didn't have no wind at the time, to be honest. But I'll say coaching, he was the one who, helped me a lot with coaching and the mentorship.
Yeah, Coach Morrow was a good coach. And I think ultimately it's imperative for these young kids to have, those good coaches like Kendrick in their life who's going to, light that fire in them. Like, it's a balance between tough love and like, hey, I'm being hard on you because I want you to be successful. I want you to, even if it's not playing sports.
Kicking the butt.
Exactly. I want you to get there.
Kicking the butt and the hug at the same time.
Exactly. And so I think that's really imperative for these young kids, especially in the inner cities who unfortunately don't have fathers in their life. So we need those teachers, man.
Coach will be the only father they know in their life, most of them. Father figure they know in their life. And I took on that responsibility. I took it as far as, when the child comes into on my team, I have to meet the parent. And I'll know right away whether the mother is the mother and father in life. And usually, I speak to the mother and I say, hey, you mine now. He's mine. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to make sure he's going to be good. He's mine.
I'm going to make sure you get together,
As much as I'm on him, I do the same thing in love. I encourage him. I give him words to make him improve and also set structure. Hey, this is where we need to be. We want to go to college. We want to do this in our lives. And they act like they don't hear, but you speak that message long enough, they will get it.
Yeah.
And to their credit, they listen and you got a chance to see them walk across the stage and do something with their life.
And even the ones who be like, oh man, here go Coach Kendrick again talking about going to college. They know what you finna say. like you said, it's burnt in their memory. Like even though they may be annoyed hearing it,
Yeah.
they know what you say. They
Yeah.
remember it, like you said. So
The person that's complaining the most becomes your comfort. And when they're in your ear long enough, hey, you need to do this. For me, it was my grandmother. Ooh, she's rough.
Grandma,
And she
yes.
be, ooh, she's rough.
Hey,
Need the
Kendrick,
comfort.
I got to tell you a story. Grandma, I remember, I was going to USF. Remember, I tell you the story that the talk I had with my cousins were my motivation. I think even family can be mentors to you, but my cousins were my motivation through me getting through school, even though I was at my darkest times, failing classes and stuff here and there. Well, I remember I lost my Florida Bright futures, and I was talking to Grandma. And grandma looked at me dead in the eyes and said, "Are you still at the school?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Suck it up and graduate." She didn't say
Simply
exactly
put.
like that, but it was something close
Simply
to
put.
that. She said, "You still can graduate." And so I ended up graduating. And I had to show her the pictures and everything, and she was excited for me. Hold on, matter of fact, I think she was at the graduation. She might have been at the graduation, but if not, I remember I showed her the pictures and she was really excited and I think she was proud. And then I had cousins. Like how we say mentorship, I had cousins. You know who was the biggest one on my case, Kendrick? Monique.
That and yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll say that. I'll say that, Jay, mentorship doesn't always have to come from coaches. It could come
absolutely
from older cousins
correct.
who's been through things. And
1,000%.
my cousins, I remember they would sit with me and talk with me when I was going through hard times in college and be like, "Little cuz, you got an opportunity some of us didn't get." And that would help me through. And like I said, with Monique, she would call me because I remember one time I had failed a class and I was on academic probation. I ended up getting off, but she was like, "You better pass the class." And I was like, "I'm trying." She's like, "There ain't no trying. You better pass the class. You know everything I
That
had to
sounds just
go
like her.
through." And I passed the class, needless to say.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, you're right, man. You definitely a mentor does not have to necessarily be a coach. You can have someone personally. I know, growing up, I think I kind of tried to find that in other people's dads. Sadly, when I was younger, like I had this one friend of mine, like he was real nice, and it's like I wanted him to be that, but he wasn't that. And so, ironically enough, the two men who was very impactful in my life at a young age, early on, it was my sister's dad. I have four sisters. All four of them have the same pop. I'm the only one with a different dad. And so he was real like in my life. And like one of the biggest memories I have growing up was it was around the time Nextel dropped and you had the chirp phones. And I was like, "Mom, I want a chirp phone. Mom, I want a chirp phone." She's like, "Jay, I can't afford to buy you. You already got a phone." I'm like, "No, I want a chirp phone. I want a chirp phone." And first of all, I don't know what made me ask this man. He's not my dad. But I was like, hey, Mr. Ben. He was like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Can you get me a chirp phone?" And he like, I don't got no money for no chirp phone. And I was like, "Okay, I understand." And so next time he came over, he was like, "Hey, Jay, you can help me get something out the car?" And I was like, "Okay, whatever." He's like, "It's in the back seat." And I look in there and it's a brand new church phone. And I was ecstatic that this man got, because once he's not, like I said, he's not my father. He ain't have to do that. That ain't my child. But the fact that he did that,
yeah,
I always remember that to this day.
yeah,
That was so impactful for me. And
yeah.
then the other man in my life was Flint's pops. For whatever reason, he always was, trying to give me advice and trying to look out for me. And he got to a point like anytime I came over their house, I was like, "Money, why your pops always trying to give me a lesson?" "He ain't trying to give you a lesson, bro. He just trying to look out for you." I'm like, "You sure, man?" Because I feel like he think I'm just this
Not just
knucklehead or
you, by the way.
something. I'm like, he makes it like I'm just this troublemaker. But
We got those same lessons, by the way.
but Mr. Barnes
Hey,
definitely always looked out for me.
he got the worst ones. He got the worst ones. Cause Kendrick would tell you about the lessons he got from my dad when he was
You know
younger.
what? He told me the other day, he's like, "Hey, I'm proud of you. I know where you come from. I'm proud of you." And to me, those are powerful words
Yeah,
from
yeah.
where I came from to where I'm at now. He just said it the last time he was here, so that meant a lot coming
Of
from him.
course. That's definitely a big deal.
But
And
we
I
all, as a men, are searching for male role models.
yeah.
And I think I was reading a book not too long ago, and it says that the destruction of men is the lack of male role models.
Right.
Um, so when that happens, then we're going to struggle. And that's kind of, to me, that's what the state we're in right now. Everybody's too busy. The environment is causing both parents to work as hard as they can. You got very little time for the children. The children are growing up on iPads and social media, and they're not being raised anymore. We talk about our grandparents raising us and mentoring. They don't have their mentorship is an iPad
Yes.
or an iPhone, and they're learning from Instagram, and it's distorting their reality. And that's why that's why we're at where we're at today.
And that's where a lot of that discipline came from growing up. I know for me personally, my grandmother raised me for a big part of my life. And so, Miss Connie ain't play that. Hey, Miss Connie was Flint's met my grandmother. My grandmother's very matter of fact. She's very stoic, very quiet. But when she speaks, you hear it. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is, my grandmother, like I said, she's a very serious woman. But if you know her, she can be very lighthearted and make jokes. And she made a joke to Money, and Money was scared because he thought she was serious. And he was like, Jay, well, I didn't know your grandma don't like me, bro. I try not to come over as much. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, she told me that she was gonna throw me out her house if I came over here again. Then I'm like, Money, she was joking with you. You sure, bro? She looked real serious in that kitchen. I was like, she was joking with you. Trust me, she don't like a lot of people. She actually like you. And then she felt so bad, she apologized to Flint. You remember that? And then Flint was like, well, now I feel bad. I didn't know she was joking.
That's funny.
But yeah, she was very, but
funny.
that's where I got a lot of my discipline from, Perfect example, the other night I'm at work. We work with, everyone's over 18, but we do have young kids there. We had this one kid, maybe 22, and he's an hour into his shift, and he's like, hey, Jay, I'm finna head out. And I'm like, what's wrong? I'm thinking he's finna say a family emergency, my girl going to labor. He was like, I'm tired. What do you mean? He's like I'm sleepy, like I'm finna get some rest. Joseph, we're all tired. I don't know if you didn't realize that, or you thought you was working harder than somebody else here, but we all are tired. You don't think we want to just go home? And he left. And I'm like, I don't know. This generation's different, man. This generation's different. To leave work because you're tired? How many days have you been at work, Kendrick, where you're tired and the thought of leaving never crossed your mind?
Man, tired, sick,
Yeah, it's
mentally down. It don't matter.
you got responsibility.
You get up, you grind.
Absolutely.
Your job and your duty to your family is to provide.
Absolutely, 100%. And just the fact that he was able to bounce out with that, like, I don't know, it bothered me the whole night because we had a busy big visit, and my reporter manager was there to make sure we got everything done. And I just kept saying it. She's like, Jay, you gotta let it go. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I can't. I'm trying, but I can't. The boy left 8 hours ago, and I'm still like, I can't believe he really left. Like, it bothered me so much.
Hey, you gotta let Kendrick know. You gotta let Kendrick know you work night shift.
Oh yes, unfortunately I work
Jay
nights.
works night
I'm trying to
shift.
get off it. I've been praying to Jesus, Allah, Muhammad. I'm trying to get off nights. So far it ain't happened yet, but that is my next step in life, to get off nights, man. It's rough. I've been working nights for about 8 years, right, Money?
Oh.
I had a travel job for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I worked at Lowe's for 2 years. So yeah, for 8 years. And I'm over it. So trying to get me a dayside job. But
You gotta be different to do that for that long. So for sure.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this, Kendrick. You're gonna love this next topic.
Oh,
You're
man.
gonna love it.
next, we have what we like to call the fin zone. To the new viewers at home, the fin zone is a segment where Money sit here and complains for about 45 minutes to an hour about his Dolphins. But this year, he actually has a legitimate reason to talk about them. The Dolphins lost their Thursday night matchup against the Buffalo Bills 31-21. Tua in the game completed 65% of his passes, but only throwing for 146 yards. Playoffs after 3-0. Given that no team in recent memory has started off 3-0 and made the playoffs since the schedule expanded.
0-3.
Excuse me, 0-3 has made the playoffs since the schedule has expanded. How realistic is a postseason berth for the Miami Dolphins? Kendrick?
Well, who's going?
You go ahead, Kendrick.
It is very unrealistic. We'd be lucky if the general manager doesn't get fired, the head coach gets fired. We got possibly a defensive coordinator. He's going to take over the
Pause.
head
Do
coach,
you like your general manager?
But no.
No? Okay.
This is 10 years of mediocrity in terms of drafting. We've done well in some certain areas, but to be honest with you, everybody know everything's about the trenches. When you fail in the trenches, you don't have a team. So we can get all the nice glam and glut. You don't win in the trenches, you don't win
100%.
games. And that's primarily where we're at. But I think at the end of the day, we failed in the trenches. We traded away good players. I mean, the trading of John Smith last year. I mean, I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I think what they want to give him a few more $1 million, what he wanted in his contract. I mean, to me, that's the biggest piece missing here, because you got Tyreek and Waddle that was double teamed all last night, and there's nobody working the middle. That's gone, and that's the biggest piece missing to this puzzle. Third thing is they didn't run the ball. You had your running back averaging 5 yards per carry, but we kept passing. We passed the entire game. It didn't make sense. You got McDaniel still calling in plays late. We breaking the huddle 13 seconds, 12 seconds. You can't win like that. You can't even come to the line and diagnose what's going on in front of you. It's losing football. You got people jumping off sides. You got people
Illegal man downfield.
Illegal man downfield. You got all types of undisciplined penalties. It looks like an undisciplined football team. I think McDaniel is a good coach for X and O's, but there's a human element to it. And I think he's a savant, and he doesn't realize it, and he's struggling. And I think that'll be the reason why he's not a coach anymore.
Me and Money threw this topic around. I don't think we talked about it on the pod, but we floated the idea of, in a perfect world, if Flores was never given the head coaching job of Miami first, if Mike McDaniels would have been the head coach, or even if Flores was the head coach and McDaniels was the OC, or vice versa, Flores was the DC, Miami would be a scary team. Because Flores has the utmost, hey, he's no nonsense. And we saw, keep going back to this. Money don't like when I refer to this because it was a while ago, but we saw this Miami team put up 70 points and showed mercy. They could have scored more. They showed mercy to a professional sports team. So it's hard for me to believe, I understand the league, everyone's smart. They catch up and they figure things out. It's hard for me to believe that McDaniels can't get creative and find a way to get around it. I know the rule change was a big impact on the offense, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, remember the motion.
I know. I know.
Hey, Jay, I was the motion.
But what are your thoughts, Money?
That's what I was going to go to, the cheat motion.
My thoughts on what, the GM?
No.
Or the Dolphins as a
How
whole?
realistic is it for Miami to get a postseason berth?
Bro, the season over, bro. I'm already looking at quarterbacks in college. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at quarterbacks in college already, bro. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about head coaching candidates, because a lot of people don't like McDaniel. I just don't think. I don't think it's all him. I just don't think he's head coach material. I think he's an offensive coordinator. That's what I think he is, because he got the plays, he got the personnel, but he don't have the discipline. So I'm gonna say they're not gonna make the playoffs. Shoot. Oh, by the way, Kendrick, Jay and I are going to the Panthers-Dolphins game.
Hey.
We'd be lucky if both our teams ain't 0-5.
That is correct.
0-4.
That is correct. But hey, man,
Shoot,
it's not about
they
my,
give
my
us a
Panthers right
discount
now.
on
We talking
tickets.
about the Dolphins. All right, this is the fin zone. Don't do that. Don't bring us into this.
Okay, but I'll say that it's like I agree with Kendrick. We put in so much draft capital for the O line, but they're bad. Patrick Paul drafted in the second round. Jonas Sinai.
Patrick
I
Paul's
probably
looked
said his
decent
name
so
wrong.
far this year.
I said his name wrong, but he's a left guard. We traded up for him. Dude held out. He has one of the worst grades as a rookie lineman. We brought in
Oh, the
Aaron
Samoan
Brewer.
dude? Yeah, I saw
He-
that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Then our right guard was James Daniels, injury prone. We had Liam Eichenberg, who we drafted in the second round. Dude is a turntable trash can.
Oh god.
Then we had at right tackle Austin Jackson drafted in the first round. So Jay, I'm gonna break this down to you. Patrick Paul drafted in the second round. The Samoan dude drafted in the second round. Liam Eichenberg drafted in the second round. Austin Jackson drafted in the first round. So you got 4 linemen drafted in the top 2 rounds, and you still suck on the offensive line. What does that tell you?
Somebody's bad at evaluating talent. But this is the thing, though. This is what the saving grace is.
Boom.
The Dolphins will nail a pick, and then they'll either not re-sign them, or they'll trade them away.
Robert Hunt.
Who ironically just got put on IR. Fun fact. But Robert Hunt, he was one that panned out. Granted, he didn't pan out at tackle. You had to bump him in the guard, but he was a quality offensive guard. His first year with Carolina, he was a Pro Bowl. I think it was first team All Pro. I may be wrong, but he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
By the way, Jay, this is now a cleaning shirt right now.
Oh wow!
This is all this is good for, by the way.
I didn't even see that.
Now
one.
cleaning shirt.
That's a tough shirt, though. I like it. All right. Speaking of McDaniels, how much pressure is Mike McDaniels under right now, and what should we expect for him in terms of adjustments as far as game planning, discipline, as Kendrick mentioned, and the mentality to stop the bleeding?
He's under immense pressure. He has to stop the bleeding. Otherwise, I think he might have one more week, to be honest with you, to get it right. We've got major problems, and undisciplined. In the undisciplined players are just winging it, doing what they want. You got him calling plays. We getting plays in 11 with 11 seconds left. The offense operations just looks horrible. You got Tua telling Tyreek where to go. People don't even know where to line up. You got it is a mess. And if you're the offensive coordinator, you're supposed to be an offensive team. This offense was bad. It was real bad. The play calling is atrocious. What is your identity?
Right.
We don't know. We have no idea. And I wish, for God's sakes, that they stop running that. What do you call it? A flash route where you go 7 yards and post inward. If they run that route one more time, I'm just gonna slam everything. Like the defense don't know that.
They're trying to find ways to get
sick of
A-Chain
it.
the ball. And to piggyback off what you said earlier, A-Chain was running the ball well. He had 12 carries for 62 yards, but 12 carries for 62 yards. Now, granted, my original thought was, okay, you don't run him into the ground. But if we're going to give him 22 touches, I mean, shoot, man, we know he's a good receiver out the back, but I would rather it be more of a 18 rushes to a 4 or 5 catch, kind of how, the 49ers uses McCaffrey. So they did go, but the bright side of that, I got that later, but, this was the first game the Dolphins had over 100 yards rushing as a team. So, Money, what are your thoughts on stopping the bleeding?
You know what? I don't think McDaniel's gonna get fired anytime soon. I'm gonna be real with you. Here's the reason why. The owner doesn't like being told what to do. And I'm gonna say McDaniel, shoot, he might be around the whole season knowing our owner, because I don't think our owner care about winning. He costs us draft picks because he over there trying to get Tom Brady in. We traded a first for Bradley Chubb. Hey Jay, you know what Bradley Chubb said? We be out there freestyling on defense. The head coach. My favorite thing. What the head coach said. Our goal is to win and not lose, but to win. What? Something like that. Like what? Like what?
Like
This is our
took a
head
couple
coach.
volumes before he got out there.
Jay thought I was joking until I sent it to him.
All right. So I just looked it up real quick because I didn't have the numbers on hand. But I'm going to push back on the firing of the coach. One, I think it's hella early. I think it's way too early to fire the coach. And my pushback is after the coach has been fired in the NFL historically, teams win 27% of their games. So I know Kendrick likes Anthony Weaver. I know Kendrick like Anthony Weaver. I think that's going to set him up for failure because he's not going to win a lot of games taking over that team.
Hey Jay, quote what the head coach said. You got that quote?
McDaniels. Oh, no,
Yeah.
I don't got it pulled up. But yeah, I mean, Money didn't like the quote. I thought it was kind of like because reporters do actually stupid questions, like the infamous Russell Westbrook meme where he's like, "What, bro? What are you talking about?" It's because the reporter asked him, "Did OKC win? Did OKC lose this game, or did the Pacers win this game?" And Russ is like, what kind of question is that? So I think that's how McDaniels took the question because I believe it was along the lines of, why did you guys lose this game? And McDaniels said, in order to win games, you have to win games. And if you don't win games, you lose games. So I feel like he kind of gave like a smart aleck response to a dumb question. Money didn't like it though. Money was not a fan of it.
That was the craziest thing I ever heard. But I'll say I don't think Medeiros is gonna get fired. I'm telling you, he might be the half to the whole season. The dude doesn't care. Like I remember when we had Flores, we had the TNT wall. You know what the TNT wall stand for, Jay?
No.
Takes no talent. Takes no talent. And all the players would run back and forth with that. And he had dudes basically out there, that we never even heard of winning games.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Fitzpatrick was out there slinging that thing. Well, I was like, oh man, he was out there, And then we had Kader Kohu. We picked him up that year. He's been missing, and I think he's missed right now. And then we had Zach Sealer, who was drafted in the 7th round by the Baltimore Ravens. We picked him up off the practice squad, and he's become a really good defensive tackle. Do I like the dude? No, because he cost us the game. I have him walk back to Miami and catch his own ride because he over there trying to be a superhero and try to block the punt. It's like, bro, what are you doing? We getting the ball back.
Leading into what you just said.
That's what I talk about when I say this.
No, go ahead, Kendrick. Go ahead.
I talk about the human element because if I'm coaching that game, I know my players, and I know they're gonna start pressing when there's an opportunity. So I'm gathering them all together. Hey,
putting that bug in there.
One play at a time. One play at a time. Just you got to be in the air one play at a time. You don't have to win it all in one possession. One play at a time. You got to. And that's the human element I talk about. Where he says, "Oh, it's a players-led team. And the players run the show, and you're having players meetings." I need to hear that there's some backbone with the coaches, and the coaches are laying down the law and saying, "Hey, you guys are going to not jump off sides. You guys we're going to run the ball. You're going to run the ball down their throats. We're going to hit people, and if they do catch it, we're going to hit them." We need to tackle. You need to tackle better. I don't see the coaches driving. It's just the players, and the players are like, to me, it seems too loosey goosey.
You think that's on Weaver? Because Flores was a different type of dude. Zach Sealer would have did that. Flores would have had him jacked up on the sideline.
And you know what's funny? We kind of seen, I'm not sure how much basketball you watch, Kendrick, but we seen what happened when players run the team with Brooklyn. When we had Kyrie, KD, and James Harden on the same team. And Kyrie said, quote, "We don't need a coach."
Right.
They were awful. So,
yeah.
But leading into that, Money, the Dolphins had key miscues last night, a roughing the kicker penalty, a late game interception by Tua. Is more about mental errors, schemes breakdown, or player execution under duress?
is Tua turn the ball over. Okay, that's his new nickname for me. Tua turn the ball over. I wouldn't. You know what I would have did as soon as he threw that pick? I wouldn't even got mad. I wouldn't even got mad because I expected it. I was like, watch. Like I knew when we got the ball with 3 minutes left, we were driving down the field. I was like, this man gonna throw a pick. And when he did, I wasn't surprised. and then once Zach Sealer got the roughing the punter, I already knew he was going to, I knew the game was over when that happened. I was like, he gave Josh Allen another chance. The dude is going to go down there and score a touchdown. And what happened? He went down there to score the touchdown, and then we got the ball back. And I was like, Tua turn the ball over, is going to throw a pick. And I'm going to say this. Somebody broke up the all 22. And if you look at it, I thought the Bills at the beginning was playing man. I'm going to be real. How they came out in, I thought they were playing man, but he ended up playing zone. And Tua, when he threw that pass because he was staring down Waddle on the backside, you could have had Tyreek. But he stared at Waddle, and the linebacker literally, Jay, if you seen the play, the linebacker literally read his eyes and ran over to Waddle and picked it off.
And going off of that, quarterback decision making was definitely a big part of this game. Tua Tagovailoa showed flashes, but his late game fourth quarter interception really hurt the team. Is this a sign of declining situational awareness, or is it pressure, or is the pass protection letting him down?
I'd say he does not trust the O-line. He doesn't even look comfortable back there.
Pause. Based on his concussion history, do you think that's fair for him to feel that way?
No.
Okay.
We're playing football.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We got to dress up and we got to play for our teammates. Everybody gets injured. It's a 100% injury rate playing
Correct.
football. You're going to get injured, whether it's one thing or another. So you suit up and you play for your teammates and you play hard and you give it everything you got. Otherwise, the rest of your teammates, they don't get inspired. They won't play for you. They won't go across the middle. To me, it's the pass to Tyreek when he was wide open and he threw it too high. He jumped up in the sky. And he reached his hands up and snatched his hands back down. I was like, he's not playing inspired. They said, well, he just missed the ball. No, he ain't playing inspired. He doesn't care.
Right.
So when your quarterback inspires you, and that's why it's the quarterback-driven team, league, and everything in between, because the quarterback has to inspire the rest of the team to want to do more. And you don't get that from Tua. Tua turning the ball over is he doesn't look like he trusts his offensive line. He's having misreads. Every team kind of got the book on him. They know they want to make him come off his first read. They're taking away that glance route. They're making him throw the ball outside, which he looks uncomfortable doing. He's trying to take a deep shot downfield. It looks the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a straight duck ball. It is bad. And I don't know where it's going to go. I just know Tua is a assistant distributor. However, he cannot take over and win the game for you.
And it's kind of indifferent for me because I'm not sure how many episodes you've seen of the podcast, but I've been more of a Tua defender on here. But it's hard for me to defend these 3 games. Tua led the league in completed passes one year. He actually led the league in yards, I believe, one year too. So I feel like we've seen the talent be displayed. But this year it's off to such a bad start that it's like, I don't know. Is it him? Is it like you said, is he not reading the field the way he should be, or guys not riding the wrong routes? I know earlier you mentioned, Tua's telling people what to do. Do we have guys in the wrong spot, which is making Tua's job harder? And that falls on coaching, sadly. But, that's something that
it's definitely a mix of all.
What about you, Money? Want me to read your question?
I'm going to ask you this, Jay. No, I'm going to ask you this, Jay. If a quarterback threw a hospital ball to you, how would you feel? because that's where he threw A-Chain last night. Like he threw A-Chain a hospital ball. I was like, oh no.
Did he catch it though?
You know what's bad about it? Bro, he almost got Reggie Bush hit. Remember that Reggie Bush hit versus the Eagles? That almost happened to him. You remember that play?
Yeah, I remember that play.
So, I'm gonna say, let me ask you this: how would you have felt being Tyreek Hill? To do what was it? You got that Tua quote? You know, I'm basically throwing a 40-yard comeback.
Oh man, yeah, Tua. Like I said, I've been a Tua defender. I can't defend that quote, and I told Money I need to watch the video because I got to hear how it's said. Because you know, me saying something to you and you actually hearing me say it is completely different. So I have to watch the video. But the quote is, Tua said, well, Tyreek knows playing with me that he's going to have to stop, turn around, and find the ball because it's going to be underthrown. And I don't know if that was supposed to be like a compliment to Tyreek's elite speed, but I don't want to hear my quarterback saying that. I don't want to hear him saying it. And to be fair, even when Tyreek was, I still think he's at the peak of his powers. I think he's on the backside of that hill, but I still think he's at the top of the hill. When he was with Kansas City, Pat was underthrowing him, and Pat don't got no weak arm. You know what I'm saying? So that just shows how elite his speed is. You know, so but I don't want to hear my quarterback saying that. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, Tua, the book is out on him, bro. With him and McDaniel. Remember, did you hear what Xavier Howard said? We take away that first read, it's done.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of teams are doing. And think about it, Jay.
Even though Xavier Howard has no ground to stand on, like you was out of the league for a year and a half, my boy. Don't come out here talking smack because y'all beat them. You know
from what I'm hearing, that he wanted to come back to the Dolphins for not a lot of money, and the Dolphins like, no, we don't want to. And I think that him going to Indy was like the big FU, and he kind of gave him the book on tour,
which is a mistake because I'm sorry to cut you off, Kendrick. And I think that was a mistake because the Miami Dolphins secondary is terrible. You were starting a guy named Storm Duck, and I knew Storm Duck since he was 18 because he went to the University of North Carolina. So he was never good at the University of North Carolina. So the fact that he was starting for the Miami Dolphins as an undrafted player shows you how far they are currently. So why would you not take his age? I don't know.
I'm looking at that game from a coach's perspective, and there's so many undisciplined things. I'm yelling at the screen. I'm telling my dad, you know, just the simple things. Like when we played Indy, they ran a bunch of screens on us. And the one rule is the defensive lineman, when you're coming off the ball, you do not let a running back cross your face. You knock him out on your way to the quarterback. We just let him flip out and run all kinds of screens all day long. And I'm like, it's the one. These are veteran things. These are things. They're just playing undisciplined football all across the board.
This lower level stuff you learn.
Yeah. This is stuff you learn in Little League.
Tell us your perspective on Tua and everything, because, like I said, when I look at Tua, he's just. I think everybody knows what he's gonna do. Buffalo, I think Buffalo personally walked into the game like we're gonna blow them boys out anyways. That's why I think it was close.
Because they tried to overlook them.
And remember, it's a division rival. Yeah, that's what my main thing is, because they're like, these dudes are 0-2.
They ain't want to get anybody hurt for the next week.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I ain't think as much.
That's
a tough one. That's a tough one.
The book is out. It's nothing. That's nothing you can show. You could put on tape that they haven't seen.
Yeah. And
it's the same old person. You got to throw over the middle of the field. If you got in the middle of the field, you're done. McDaniel's running the same route, same plays over and over and over. He's predictable. I'm next to my dad. I said, I'm calling out the plays as he do it. And he was like, how do you? I'm like, it's predictable. I played it. I watched it. I coached it. He's predictable. I know if I'm a fan and I'm calling out the plays, I know What do you think about the AI analytics and everything that the other teams have? They can see it. He does not run the ball on first down ever. It's it's crazy. He's predictable.
And I like McDaniels, but man, it's been rough. It's been rough to start this season, and the way it's trending towards he already started the year on the hot seat, but now it's trending towards can he finish the year? So I think firing him this early is not the best move. I think if we're gonna do it, we gotta go a little further in the season. The schedule lightens up. I think in 2 weeks or a week. Yeah, in 2 weeks, because you got Carolina, then you got the Jets, right? Or am I mistaken?
No, we play the Jets next
That's
week.
what I'm saying. Yeah, well, both those teams.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
and going off
But
the
here-
defense, what you finna say, Money?
You got
No, I'll say here's the thing, right? If you don't think the coach is that good, you're probably cleaning house. You're getting rid of everybody.
true, yeah.
I don't think the GM is going to get fired because the GM is part of that Flores case. So he's going to get a new position. He's not going to be a GM, but he's going to be president of operations or something, right?
that's possible.
And I'm gonna say, if you don't think you don't have any faith in this team, you don't think they're gonna do well, fire the coach now and tell Weaver, hey, good luck, because you're gonna need a whole new everything. You need a new quarterback. I would clean house. I'm trading Tyreek. I'm trading Bradley Chubb. I'm starting over because this team doesn't look. Jalen Phillips, he can't stay healthy. Like, what can you name any building blocks on the Dolphins that you would have? Because you're gonna have to bring in a new quarterback. Because Tua, he's not taking accountability.
Tua's in his second or third year
name-
of this
name a
contract. I'm pretty sure he's in the second year. No.
Hey, you just have to pull the Denver Broncos.
Ugh,
Just eat it.
You can't
and call
eat
it a
that
day.
money, man.
You got
You
to.
can't eat
It's
that
like
money.
70 million.
Exactly.
You're talking about
You
having-
can't.
That's
You can't.
nasty.
Well, he'll back. Well, what coach is gonna come in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna coach Tua"? I'll tell Tua this straight up in his face. You're gonna be the backup. You're gonna be the backup.
That's still bad. You can't have a $50 million
You can't even
backup.
trade him.
Well, I trade him.
Yeah.
I trade him I trade him like I'm over here having a garage sale. That's how I trade him, boy. Cause that dude right there, boy,
Shoot, man.
he ain't taking no accountability. Go
Yeah,
ahead, cuz.
that's been the bad one. Yeah, not taking accountability. But moving along,
Yeah.
the defensive woes and offensive production. Miami allowed 100 yards rushing and struggled in momentum-changing moments, but they did convert third downs fairly well and ran the ball better by their season standards so far. Which unit needs the bigger overhaul immediately? The defense, offense, or the special teams?
Oh my God. Where do you start? The secondary, they pull guys off the street.
Yeah.
There's nobody there with a notable name other than Fitzpatrick. Nobody. I mean, I think what Buffalo did is they made the cornerback get into the run fit. And some of them looked like they didn't want to tackle anybody.
Right.
So it looked bad. And the cornerback room needs a major overhaul. The defensive line coach, they need to get rid of him. They need a new one. Because the run fit, I mean, it was atrocious.
I think the D-line, you guys have the talent for the
D-line
D-line, in my opinion. I think you have the
We
talent.
got talent. That's why I said coach. Yeah, the coach got to go because I mean the run fits were atrocious. They getting 5, 7, 8, 9 yards a pop. But we got the talent. You could see on spurts of plays where they're knocking people in the backfield. That's okay. They control the line of scrimmage, but it's inconsistent. So that's technique. That's not understanding what's going on in front of you. The linebacking core, just what I'm looking at here is just atrocious. Just throw all of them away. And I thought Jordan Brooks was going to be okay.
I thought so, too.
I thought he was a leader, and I liked him last year. He was all over the field. He was, to me, it was one of the bright spots last year. This year, he just looked confused. He don't even know I don't know what the hell is going on. It's so bad. It looks like a bunch of scattered ants out there, and they have no idea what to do. It's bad.
What you think, Money?
Are you on my? I'll say this. I'm overhauling the offense first. They are the most talent. They need to go. Like the whole O line. I'm getting rid of every single one of them dudes, besides the left guard, and he sucks. But I'm not getting rid of him because I drafted him last year. That dude that dude straight up sucks. Have you seen his PFF grade?
We only 3 games into the
His
season.
PFF. Hey Jay, his PFF grade for the last 2 games was like a 22. I said, man, I grade high on doggone test.
That is bad.
Shoot, my word.
That
like
is bad.
that dude. Hey, I was talking with TJ, right? He's like, cuz, you got to give him a pass. I said, you don't get a pass when you hold out because you're like, I want to be like all the second rounders. I want more money. If you hold out, you better be that dude walking in.
I'm gonna push back on that.
And he ain't that dude.
I don't think it's nothing wrong for trying to get what you feel you deserve. You know what I'm saying? Like that's an issue we have as fans. This is a slight tangent. That's an issue we have as fans. For whatever reason, us fans support these billionaires more than we support these players. Imagine you go to your job, Kendrick, and you express to your boss like, hey, I feel like I've done these numbers the past year and a half. I'm up on all my stuff 200%. I feel like I'm entitled to be modest, a 5% raise. And so your manager says, okay, well, I'm gonna have to think about it. We'll see. As of right now, we didn't plan on giving you a raise. And then you go home and you tell Money like, yeah, I asked my job for a raise. And then Flint says to you, the company shouldn't give you a raise. You're making the money that you signed on for.
No, that's different though.
How
Jay.
is that different?
The dude hasn't proven anything in the NFL yet.
But he was drafted in with the same people. What are those guys proving that they're getting more?
Like I said, those guys better go out there and do their thing too, because you're holding out. Like basically, him holding out is like basically missing training. Like you have training and you need to walk into the company knowing what you're doing because you're holding out from training, saying I want to get paid more. So you're gonna be criticized more due to that.
I feel like he's already going to get criticized being a second round pick because of the expectation to perform. So that angle, yes, I agree. He has to perform for the simple fact second round picks
you
are
traded
extremely
up for
valuable. Exactly. Second round picks are very valuable and we're expecting you to perform. And you're behind the 8 ball. So I get that aspect of it. But I'm not going to be mad at him for feeling like he should get more money compared to his peers. Especially you put him ammo in my pocket by saying, well, you guys obviously wanted me here for a reason. You traded up to get me. I think it's only fair that I should be paid near my peers.
Yeah, get paid, but be that dominant left guard that I expected you to be.
Yeah. So basically, when you're drafted, they paying you on potential.
Correct.
And right now, he's not living up to his potential. You can't get any of that money back. That's the hard part. It's different, and you say, okay, well, we'll pay you, but if you don't perform, we need some of that money back. You can't.
Right.
So that's why when people argue in the contract, they're like, okay, well, I'm not sure because you may not live up to this, and I can't get this money back if you underperform. So, it's more than it for me. When a player exceeds his contract, you get 15 sacks, and you normally get 3. You get 15 sacks, you exceed your contract. And you're in the contract year, you're definitely deserving of it. You outplayed your contract. You worked for it. You put in the effort. You did the grind. You deserve that money. But as a rookie coming in, we have no idea what to expect. We could just go off what you did in college, which has nothing to do with grown men. We have no idea what to expect, and we can't get that money back. So it's a question mark.
That's fair. That's a fair way to look at it. I say my only pushback to that would be then is theoretically it could balance out, because let's say you pick a guy in the second round and he goes through that process, right, and he doesn't work out. He's not the guy. But you got this 6th round pick though, who's making pennies on a dollar, looks like the next superstar. So I think in theory it balances out, but obviously it doesn't happen as much. We see more people missing on the high end compared to people being good on the low end, but it's still there. So in theory, I think it's supposed to balance out. So I get what you're saying, though. All right, the next question. With some of the next few of the matchups that we mentioned earlier being sub 500 teams such as the Jets, the Carolina Panthers, how important is it for the Dolphins to get at least one win of these to build confidence? And what happens if they don't?
Everybody fired. Everybody fired. Fire sales. You get one, you get one. Everybody fire sales. Everybody go.
So you feel he has to win these
Um,
next two?
to me, these are division games. They're not just you lost to the Bills already. If you lose to the Jets, you've lost. You're at the bottom of the division.
Yeah, damn, I didn't even think about that. You did lose to the Patriots, so you're 0-3 in the division.
Yeah, you 0-3 in the division.
Damn.
So it's no the chances to playoffs is like almost
Oh, at
none.
that point, yeah, because you got to go on the run.
And
You got to go on the run. You're right.
yes, you have to win every game, but you lost your division game, so it still puts you at risk.
Yeah.
So it's a bad situation to be in. It's going to be a fire sale. I don't see them winning next week. It's so bad. The defense can't stop anybody. It looks bad. This looks like an 0-17 team.
Yeah, sadly, I was telling Money before the season started that, leading up, as a Panthers fan, I felt like there was a lot of things we were doing and saying, and I was saying that I felt was in a positive direction. I didn't necessarily agree with taking the wide receiver there, but I understood the reasoning behind it. So it was things like that. We're making things to try to, support our quarterback. And since the offseason, I told Money, as the outside observer of the Dolphins, none of that stuff looks positive. And now we get to the season, and it looks the same way it looked in the offseason. It's like, what is going on? What are your thoughts, Money, on what happens if the Dolphins go 0-2 over these next two games?
I'm gonna just say, the owner ain't gonna fire nobody. The dude just gonna go in his office, sit down, have him a coke, and go on about his day. Because I don't think he's gonna fire anybody. He doesn't like being told what to do. Jay, the owner makes more money off of the racing than he does off the Miami Dolphins.
So you're saying you don't have an invested owner, is what you're saying to the team?
Yes. Our only hope for us to get big changes is if one of the daughters or both of the daughters take over the team. That's what I'm.
Well, I think, correct me if I'm
because-
wrong, isn't the son really involved or no?
No, the daughters are the next in line.
I think I'm thinking the Jacksonville. That's my bad. I'm thinking the Jacksonville.
Yeah.
His son is that's my bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
The daughters are next in line for Dolphins.
think, man, losing to the Jets. First of all, having 3 divisional games this early in the year is terrible. That is atrocious for any team.
Yes.
For any team, that's awful. So if we paint this picture, heading into the Carolina game, no wins. I hate to say it, but if you lose to the Carolina Panthers and that'll put you at 0-5, McDaniels might be going. Because Carolina, so far, we're not a good team.
If they fire him,
What you say, Money?
I'm gonna say this: if they fire him, it'll probably be the bye week or something. Because and I'm gonna say this: the Dolphins,
Makes sense.
I see, I don't see them going 0-17. I see one win on their schedule, at least. I see one win. The Saints.
The Saints are bad.
That's the only win. That's the team I say, hey, they could beat because that dude Spencer Rattler, that dude sucks.
That is one team I think is
Okay.
worse so far, and not to get too off track here. With Carolina, we just had miscues, man. Ironically enough, I'm not sure if you saw our last episode, but Tua and Bryce had a very similar stat line. I mean, yes, Tua had 2 interceptions and a fumble. Bryce had 2 interceptions and a fumble. And I told Money, he was like, he's like, well, I'd rather have Bryce. And I'm like, from what I'm seeing, I'd rather have Tua. Because Tua's throwing to the spots, but from, once again, outside of the Zerba, it looks like guys aren't running the right routes. So he's trying to get the ball there, and then the ball is going to a freaking linebacker with no one over there, so it looks like Tua's out of his mind. Meanwhile, Bryce is trying to be Patrick Mahomes, falling to the ground, just flinging the ball. Pick 6. It's like, why would you do that? Like, what was your thought process to try that? You thought you'd get the ball over the defender into the receiver behind him, 7 yards? As you don't have a strong arm, Bryce. You don't have an arm that's strong enough to get it out your hand to go over a guy, a grown man, over a grown man to your guy right behind him. You don't have that arm. So it's just little miscues.
With
like
him
that.
jumping.
Exactly. It's little miscues like that that just piss me off with Bryce. But
He's tiny too.
he is tiny. He's
I don't
small
know
in
if he gonna
Tua.
last
Yeah,
long.
he's small in Tua.
I'll
Tua-
take
Yeah.
Bryce. You know why I take Bryce?
Because he's younger. I think that's the
Because
only reason you take Bryce.
No, we ain't paying him $200 million.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I hate to say it, but if you guys lose, if we go into Carolina Panthers versus Dolphins and both them teams are 0-, Kendrick, you know what 0 means? That means 0-5 and 0-5.
Oh, and whatever.
Exactly. And they lose to that Panthers team. Sadly, I think McDaniels is going to be gone because as bad as Carolina, I still believe in my team. I think we'll get it figured out eventually because we did see the flashes at the end of the year, Bryce. As bad as Carolina is currently going into that game, to lose to that team, because I do think the Dolphins have a more talented roster, it's hard for me to defend McDaniels there. It's hard for me to defend him there.
How many cornerbacks did you pull off the street?
And how many did you turn away? Because you said Xavier Howard was interested in coming back. So who else was interested in being a part of the team that you
Yeah,
said?
that's what I'm saying. We so good that we turning cornerbacks away. That's how good we are.
That's crazy.
we take the people off the street and just put them at cornerback. You'll be all right.
That's tough.
They don't know where they're going.
Speaking of the roster,
That's what it looks
yeah,
like.
that's what it looks like. Team morale and culture. We've seen fans start to protest, banners calling for firing with coaches and GM. How are the players responding? Is there any belief in this locker room still that the coach can do the job? That the coaches can do the job?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, you're
the
saying
reason
they
why
still-
is
they
they
still
didn't
believe?
give up against Buffalo.
Okay. All right.
They didn't give up against Buffalo. They would have got blown out if they didn't believe in the coach.
I agree. What's your thoughts, Kendrick?
I believe that too. I don't think they're playing for the coach. I think they're playing for pride. They got their butts handed to them. And they're playing with a little bit of pride, which is why I think they were trying to play hero ball. Tua's trying to play hero ball. That's why the fourth quarter interception, how the fourth quarter interception happened. Everybody's playing hero ball.
2 weeks in a row,
And I
cuz.
think, I just think there's something wrong with the messaging. And when you have a player-led team, who's driving the team, not the coach? Something's wrong with the messaging. And you have to get them together. You have to organize a team. You have to tell them, be in their ear, be that conscious. One play, one play, one play. I just think everybody's trying to win the game on one play. You got Zach Sealer, for God's sake. He's a veteran. Why do you even make that? He jumps in there and hit the kicker. When I saw that, I just got up and walked out, and my dad was like, well, "What happened? What happened?" I said, "You didn't see that?" He's like, "What? What happened?" I said, "Zach Sealer just hit the kicker."
Was he even close? Because I
walked
missed the game.
outside.
Was he even close?
Oh, he hit him.
No, I'm saying was
Straight
he
on.
close to getting the block?
He
though?
tried to block. I don't know. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Jay, you 300
wouldn't say that.
pounds.
I get it,
You
but
almost
if,
like
if
him.
in theory, if he's close to getting the block, it's like you eat that. You like, I hate that happened. This is the bad time for it to happen.
No. There's places where you want to take risks and you don't. If at the beginning of the game you want to take a risk, you have a whole game to play. You get in the fourth quarter, your defense is playing atrocious. Just gotta stop. Jesus Christ, they gotta stop. We couldn't even the first half. We couldn't even get in the third down. But for God's sake, they gotta stop. We go and try to block the kick, and we hit the kicker.
That's a fair
And
point.
it's a 15-yard.
That's a fair point. You're correct. You're right. I mean, that goes back to what you were saying earlier. One play. Somebody's in their ear saying one. Someone should be in their ear saying one play.
One play. One play. one play. Something wrong with the messaging, and like I said, he's a great X and O's guy, but I don't think he's figured out how to his messaging, how to get to the team, how to get the team to play one play at a time. The coach drives the discipline, not the player, and this player-led thing. I don't think I can't see where it ever works.
Mm. I mean, man, I don't know. I think it's a little of both because I think the players still do believe in the coaching staff because, we've seen NFL teams publicly revolt the coach if they're not a fan of the coach. Perfect example is last year with the Bears. Those guys hated Eberflus. Like, they legitimately did not like Eberflus. And so now I think this game with the Bears versus the Dallas Cowboys, because Eberflus is their DC now, I think it's going to be a lot of them players, which may be the reason the Bears lose, going off of your example you gave, Kendrick, of playing for, yourself instead of like, hey, we need to stick to the game plan because they want to get this win so bad. It's like, we got to beat these boys. So part of me feels like they're going to beat them for that reason because the players who are there from last year, it's like, yo, I hate this guy. We got to win this game. But who's going to get caught doing too much? That's the fear you have going into it. So once again, it goes to coaching. Hey, we have to do our jobs, fellas. We can't get caught up being, doing way too much because that'll hurt us.
That has to be your message from day one. Do your job.
Yes.
That's it. And you have to make an example out of people who don't. And it's like Flint was talking about, the TNT wall. Takes no talent. Takes no talent to watch the snap. It takes no talent to make a technique tackle. It takes everything that is just fundamental about the game. It takes no talent. It's just this.
What do you think, Money?
I agree. I think the Bears are going to try to do too much, and they might. I think they're going to win the game. I think they're going to actually win this game against Dallas because they despise that coach so much that they're going to win the game. And and like we said, you can tell when players give up on a coach. So I'm picking the Bears when that happens. And the Dolphins, they haven't given up on McDaniel yet. You can tell when they do, because think about this, right? After they got blown out by the Colts, they would have been blown out by the Patriots and then the Bills if they gave up on the coach. I understand pride, but I understand getting a coach up out of here if you know he's on a hot seat too.
Patriots, I say no because they're not a good team, but definitely the Bills. Agree with you 100% on the Bills. The Bills, if they would have gave up on the season, they would have got robbed. They would have got throttled. So I can see that. Like I said earlier, the Dolphins are 0-3 for the first time since 2019, and history says less than 2% of these teams starting 0-3 make the playoffs. We talked about potentially looking at a lost season. My thing to you is Mike McDaniels is now on a 7-game losing streak to the Bills. If he can't beat the divisional rival, is his job security becoming shaky?
Yes. Yes, but you have to beat, like the Bills are, like they had a textbook, another thing. Remember when the Dolphins were dominant back in the earlier years? Mm-hmm. They actually had like a 20-game win streak against the Bills.
Because the Bills was terrible for a long time.
A long win streak against us.
Yeah.
So I'll say you have to beat the division rivals because you have to win the division so you can get that home game. It's hard to win on the road.
For the playoffs to mean anything, you got to get that home game because we end up playing in the snow. We end up playing in all kind of unfavorable situations. We can't play in those conditions. We need to be at home.
Are you aware of the Tua stat with the weather?
Yeah.
You heard about it? Money, have you heard about it? Tua has never won a game when the temperature is under 50 degrees in his career.
You need a new quarterback. Because think about this, Jay. You have to play the Jets, the Bills, and the Patriots. In
Think about
December,
that.
and
Tua's
all
been in the
these,
league 7 years, right? 7 or 8.
Yes,
And he's never won a game when it's
yes.
below 50 degrees. That means
They
a
need to
cool
go.
breeze. That's tough, man. That is
The
tough.
temperature in the refrigerator.
Exactly. That's tough. That is tough. Speaking of Tua has only thrown for over 150 yards once this season. Do you believe getting time to make those throws from his line, or does it mean his receivers need to get open? Because I ain't going to lie. The Patriots game, I was seeing a lot of receivers getting jacked up on the line. Guys weren't getting open. And he still managed to get 300 yards. That's why he started resorting to those quick passes and the screens.
To go back to what I was saying earlier about Jonathan Smith, he's the biggest loss in this offense. You had him over the middle, working the middle. You got nobody right now.
They say
And
Waller
as they
playing next
help,
week.
Oh, God. Does he still got it, though, man? He took a year off. He came back, and he was immediately hurt. I don't even think he got it no more, man, sadly.
break your tips out there. They're going to be in crutches.
Dude gonna go out there and make a catch. Watch.
All right.
I just,
What you saying? Go ahead.
I just, I don't see it.
I'm right there with you.
I don't see
it, man.
I don't think he's going to play next week.
I don't think he's gonna play, and when he does play, I don't see the Oakland Raiders, Darren Waller walking through that door. If he somehow did, Miami offense changes completely because now you open it up for your guys on the outside. But
You gotta tell Cuz about Waller. My history of Waller.
Waller, Money. Okay, so me and Money had this thing where basically we kind of claim guys. Like, okay, we'll find someone like, hey man, I think this guy's gonna be special. And it's like, really? Why him? It's like, man, listen, I watched him. I did a little research on him. And Waller was the first player Money ever called. And this is when he was with Baltimore as a wide receiver, and he was bad. And he was like, Jay, I'm telling you, man, he's gonna be special because he moved to tight end. He's earned a tight end now. And fast forward to his Oakland days, he was a dog. So this is very near and dear to Money's heart, having him fast forward on the Dolphins. So, yeah. But I don't know. I think that's why he's trying to believe in Waller. But no, I don't think he got
No,
it.
I don't believe in him. I
Well,
said he
he's
gonna
on
make
the
a
Dolphins.
catch.
When he was on the, when he was at Oakland and at the Giants, he killed us. Both teams. So I know what he can
Right.
do. We couldn't stop him. No matter what we did. We bracketed him. We did everything. We couldn't
He was
stop
a
him.
dog.
So he could be unstoppable
Yes.
at times.
Doing a little callback earlier, Miami finally hit 100 yards rushing for the first time all season as a team, but it still wasn't enough. Does this prove that the offense is too reliant on Tyreek and Jalen Waddle to get the ball?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I know earlier, Kendrick, you mentioned that, you felt like every first down would never run the ball.
Predictable. He's predictable. Every first down, he throws the ball, whether it's a sideline to sideline situation or it's a quick pass. But I mean, it makes you predictable. He does the same thing over and over. There's no commitment to the run. The offensive line they can't even get into a rhythm. You have to get into a rhythm. They got to get used to hitting people. You got to wear down the other team's defensive line. Of course, yeah, you got to get them moving to throw the ball left and right and get the defensive lineman running. However, once you get them running left and right, now you got to get on their throat.
Right.
And you got to keep doing it and keep doing it. And, that's the way to kind of, you keep moving the ball. It also demoralizes the defense. When you keep running the ball and they can't stop you, it demoralizes the defense. And then it makes the cornerback come up. It makes the safeties come up. Everybody has to get into the run fix now. Well, because the safeties are 20 yards down the field trying to stop Tyreek. Why the heck are we trying to throw the ball every play when the safeties are 20 yards down the field?
That's true.
We should be running the ball.
And we've seen the numbers.
I don't get what we're
We've
doing.
seen the yards per carry. So
Yeah.
Like I said, the only thing I could think
5 yards
of,
per carry.
and I kind of argue with myself on this, is you're trying to keep A-Chain's carries low, but it doesn't make sense because we're throwing him the ball 12 times. So it's like you're still giving him a crazy amount of touches. So if we're going to run him, run him.
We got Gordon too.
Yeah.
You got a 240-pound back, and you hand it off to him. He 5 yards to carry. He looked like an absolute monster yesterday.
Did you hear Miami wants him to lose
We did
weight?
not use him.
Yeah, something leaked saying Miami wants him to lose weight, which I don't understand. That's like part of his thing, is his size. So why would you want him to lose weight?
They want to fast. Like,
Unless he was
like
240
A-Chain.
at one point, but he's always been around 220, 225. You want that type of bruiser.
That power. I agree. You want him to keep his power.
And he delivered every 3rd and 1. He got it, and he delivered. He delivered on every single one of them. And you go away from it. It makes no sense to me.
Hey,
Safeties
Jay,
are 20.
you want to run it? You want, like Kendrick was saying, run
Hold on,
that
let him
ball?
finish,
You
man.
got
Let him finish
Gordon.
his
You ain't
thought.
got to have A-Chain.
Agreed. Let him finish his
Okay.
thought.
All right, go ahead, cuz.
When the safeties are 20 yards down the field, you got a light box. You run the ball. I don't know what rules he's sticking to. I have no idea, because these are basic rules.
Yes.
You got a light box, you run the ball. I have no idea. So I don't understand McDaniel, and I think it's costing the team. We're telling it the fundamentals of football all across the board: coaches, players, everything.
And to piggyback
That's
off of
why I
that,
said it's a 4-17 team.
exactly. And to piggyback off of that, I remember very vividly. Me and Money argue about this team a lot for whatever reason. But it was a couple years ago when the offense was electric. When we had Raheem Mostert look like he was reviving his career, playing out of his mind, and it was A-Chain's rookie year as well, which he was playing really good as a rookie. And the playoffs came. Everyone knew Miami's finna run the ball. They got 2 great running backs. They finna run the ball. And Miami was so mad that they was putting 8 in the box. Like, teams was trying to stop the run. And Money's like, bro, why are we still trying to run the ball? I'm like, this your bread and butter. Run the ball. It's like you got these guys having this crazy season. You got to get them the ball. And then another thing, too, is knowing Tua is weird in cold weather because it was the playoffs. And it's like Tua, for whatever reason, struggles in cold. We don't know why. He just doesn't play well in the cold. And so
Arm strength.
And so we're trying to control what we can control. So I understand it's 8 in the box, but our strength is our run game. Yeah, we're finna run the ball 8 in the box. Is it the smartest thing? Absolutely not. But we're trying to, one, keep the defense honest. And then now, fast forward, like you said, at this point, it's like, I don't know what we're doing. We still have a decent run game, but we're not sticking to it. The box is light for the first time in 2 years, and we're not taking advantage of it. So it doesn't make sense to me.
We got 2 safeties back there, 20 yards back. That's how much. That's how much they respect us. That's how much they respect our running game.
That's wild. And they do that partially because you have to respect the speed of Waddle and Tyreek Hill. You have to. I mean, no matter what anyone thinks of them, they can run. Them 2 boys can run. So you got to. And they can really be toxic. This is what Money would probably do in like Madden, the video game. But he would probably take A-Chain and put him at slot receiver. It's like, all right, so what we doing? And have Ollie Gordon in the backfield. Because you got so much speed on that at the wide receiver. Because A-Chain used to play receiver in college. So you could really slide him out of the slot if you wanted to on the occasion. Obviously not all the time, but on the occasion. And it's like, okay, what are you going to do to stop us? This is something I thought we would see from McDaniel since he's starting, like you guys say, the book is out of him. I thought we'll see more creative stuff like that. But the only thing they're doing is, okay, well, we can't run the ball with him. We're going to throw him a 3-yard out and tell him to make somebody miss. In the words of Odell Beckham,
AJ,
man, it's hard to take a slant 70
miss.
yards every time.
6 people missed. He did that day now. He had to break like 6 tackles versus the Patriots.
Yeah, like Odell said, it's hard to take a slant.
They ran the same play 30 times.
Yeah, it was bad.
I thought I saw the same play 30 times.
Until it got
felt
picked
like
up.
it.
That's tough, man.
What A Chain went out for a flare. He had a blocker out there, which was a tight end or a fullback, and they threw the quick pass, and he ran upfield. I thought I saw that play like 30 times.
He's just sitting there like, do my eyes deceive me?
And then they get hit twice in the backfield. I'm like, do you know there's another NFL team over there?
Yeah.
Like, well, what are you doing? You can't run the same play 30 times.
No.
I don't care how you dress it up.
Even in the video games now, like they starting to put these adaptive AI systems in where you run a same play all game, they gonna adjust, and it's not gonna work anymore. So if they doing that in the video game, I'm 100% sure they're doing it in real life. Like, coach, they got one more time to run this screenplay, and I'm gonna knock A-Chain helmet off. So
Exactly. And that's what happened. He got his helmet knocked off. Unbelievable.
All right.
So that's what I mean about McDaniel being so too predictable.
And he can't, because we know he has the mind. Like you said, he showed us. He showed us like, hey, I got some tricks in the bag. And it's like, okay, I understand you want to not pull out your best tricks, but we need to do something. We got to get this ball moving. So, but
also why people think that we're a finesse team.
Yes.
If they use soft. Hey, the Dolphins are soft. The Dolphins are soft. They don't really mean that the team is soft. They mean your play style, your philosophy is soft.
this is sports personality.
You're running motions. You're all over the place. You're running quick screens all the time. It's finesse.
Yes.
You're soft.
You do things like that. From my experience playing ball, you do screen passes and short passes to make up for not having a running game. You have a quality back. You average 4.5 yards a carry. What are we doing? So it just don't make. But piggyback off of that, slight tangent. It's a sports show I watch. I love. One of the hosts calls Miami Dolphins quote breakdancers, and so he says that, and his quote is, in the street back in the day, people started arguing. They were rough, and then when it's time to knuckle up and throw down, Miami don't want to fight. They want to dance. They want to dance. They want to solve their problems dancing like it's breaking the movie. And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. But piggybacking off of that comment, the defense let James Cook go off for 100+ yards rushing. Is the front seven actually soft, or are they missing leadership up front?
Go back to answering the question prior to defensive line coach. You got the talent. You got Zach Sealer up there. You got you got some rookies up there that are balling.
And I like Grant. Money don't like Grant, but I like Grant.
Fundamentally they look bad, and I'm questioning what they're being taught, and they're not reading the field. They're just playing.
Right.
And I know the rookies, they got a lot to learn, but it looks bad.
What you think, Money?
It ain't all the defensive line either. Like I said earlier, the linebackers are playing atrocious. They have no idea what's going on. Yeah.
What do you think, Money?
I agree. I think they had a talent. It's just the coaching. You have players that were really good. Zach Sealer has gotten 10 sacks almost a season. He's top 10 in D linemen and sacks. We're talking about defensive tackles and stuff, or D line like edges. We're not talking about linebackers, but they're not making any plays. I don't think Zach Sealer's made one sack all year.
You think he's any pressure?
Correct. I mean, that goes like Kendrick said. That goes back to what he said. What are they being coached to do? So that's tough, man. That's tough. Phillips is a good linebacker, but also, like I said, injuries.
They're making all the teams. If you look at Colts, the New England Patriots, and then the Bills, they're all making the cornerback play into the run fit, and they are bad. They don't want to come up and tackle. No. It looks atrocious. I don't know what they're being taught. It looks bad.
Ramondre Stevenson looked like baby Derrick Henry.
Oh my God.
Like
Oh my God.
he went
They had a
nuts that
massive
game.
hole.
And I like Ramondre
Not
Stevenson,
even read.
but he's not Derrick Henry, and that's what he looked like against the Dolphins.
If you watch the linebackers, they're not even reading and reacting. They like see ball, get ball,
Mm.
and it looks bad. I mean, you're supposed to read half step, read. I don't see it. They just going, and they're picking the wrong hole, and they open another hole. So I have no idea what they're doing, what they're being coached.
So I got two more for y'all. All right, Tyreek Hill said they're moving in the right direction. You know, it may not look like it on paper, but we are. Do y'all buy that, or is this just an empty veteran talk to try to calm the storm?
Empty
That's what
veteran
empty
talk.
veteran talk. Yeah, no. It's calm the fan base down. They're not being too hard on you. Calm the NFL analysts down. They're not being too hard on you, but they're gonna give it to you. Sorry,
Yeah.
this ain't good enough. This ain't football. It's one thing to play an NFL team and lose by 7 points or 10 points. It's another thing to get the fuck blown out. Excuse my language. Get blown out.
Yeah.
Get blown, absolutely blown
Yeah,
out.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
You might have to bleep that out.
No, you good. You good. But man, it's been hard to watch. Week one, honestly, when week one happened, I'm not sure how you two viewed it, but I viewed it as it's week one, crazy stuff happens. You know? We saw last year Isaiah Likely go off for 100 yards and like 8 catches. He ain't have more than 50 yards the rest of the season. You know what I'm saying? So we see crazy things in week one. So I just chalked it up to that. And then we seen the Patriots game. And I'm a huge Drake Mate fan. Once again, Carolina guy. He's from Carolina. So I was like, that Patriots team is not that good. Like no matter if I think Drake May is awesome, the guys around him aren't awesome. And so then it's like, okay.
Might win 6 games.
And this Buffalo game, I know you guys obviously is different when you know this team better than I do, but I think this was a step in the right direction. They were able to put points up. It wasn't an embarrassing loss like a lot of people thought it was. A lot of people had them by, double digits. By like 15, 20. So it wasn't by 15, 20. I think it was a step in the right direction. But obviously we got to
That's
see
a good
it.
question. How many points does Buffalo defense give up a game?
Well, it's going to be skewed because of that game against Baltimore. They gave up 40. So if you remove that game, yeah, it's going to be a lot lower.
What was the game after that?
The Jets.
The Jets, yeah, they rolled the Jets. Jets had like 6 points.
Yeah. I can't hear
The
you.
Jets had like 6 points. They beat the Jets. The Jets were bad.
It, it's both the Bills defense is not good at all.
No.
They're missing Ed Oliver, who's their starting D tackle, which is the heart and soul of the defense. They're missing Milano in the middle. That defense does not look good. So the defensive coordinator is scheming up as much as he can. You got Tre'Davious over there, White doing his thing. Outside of him, that defense is not good.
In theory,
At all.
they're going to get better when these players come back, but Milano's always hurt. Ed being out, I think, is a big hit for them. So, in theory, this is scary. They're going to be better when you play them the second time around. So, hopefully, the Dolphins are better when you play them around as well. So, based on that, my last question I got for y'all is next up, you have the Jets and the Carolina Panthers, who are 2 winnable games. If they don't beat at least one of these teams, are we turning our attention towards the draft, or are you still holding on hope to make the playoffs?
I've been looking at the draft. Dude gonna ask, am I turning my attention? I've been looking. Like, dude gonna ask, Like, I don't know what that question is. Like, am I turn? No, I've been looking. I've been looking at new quarterbacks. Shoot, I'm looking at new head coaches. I'm looking at all of it. Shoot, I want everybody gone. Get the GM up out of here. Like the coach should walk in his office. He should walk in his office. All his stuff should be in bags.
Bags
All
is
the
crazy.
coaches. Get them all up out of there. Like the players that are looking bad, give them their bus ticket. Don't even fly them out to the next team. Give them a bus ticket. Hey, I'm shipping you to San Diego. You gonna take this groundhog bus all the way to San Diego. I ain't flying you out there. I ain't paying for your flight.
How do you feel, Kendrick?
Bad. Say it all over again. It's bad.
It is bad.
I don't know what else to say. It's bad. It's bad. The season's over with. I've already started looking.
Dang.
I'm looking to see what head coaches are out there for next year. I was already skeptical about Mike McDaniel and what he can do because I don't like his philosophy in terms of coaching.
Right.
I don't think it's something that could. I don't think it's something teams can thrive in. I know they tried the players, take players leading the team, players led team. It's never worked. I haven't seen a situation where it's worked. And he's not an authority figure where he's going to tell everybody this is what you need to do. And you need to do it now. And I think it's not winning football.
And historically, if you look at it, it's easier if your coaching is, if you're a hard-nosed coach, it's easier for you to be a hard-nosed coach that's no nonsense, that over time lighten up to be, a little of a player's coach. But if you come in as a player's coach, you can't switch to all of a sudden being an authority figure. Because like, why coach tripping today? Because you're to them that's out of character. Because the other way, it's like, hey, coach starting to lighten up on us. I mean, we doing our job. So it can't go the other way. If you look at the history of coaches in that coaching style. So
I'll tell you one thing. When everybody's in that building, everybody has to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If the Dolphins want everybody to come in there, hug and sing kumbaya and buy each other gifts, it needs to be uncomfortable. It got to be uncomfortable. The coaches, everybody got to be uncomfortable. Nobody has a position.
That's how it was with the Patriots. That's how it was with the Patriots.
That's how it needs to be. And if it's not like that, then the players won't grow. They'll grow incrementally. But if it's uncomfortable, everybody grows, and everybody has to step the game up. It's uncomfortable. You can never feel comfortable. So I just think everybody too was in his comfort zone. He comes in, he laughing. We get the break feet off, but he's smiling on the sideline.
I saw that too. That bothered me as well.
Yeah.
I saw that. It was I want to say it was the Colts game. It was like they just scored again, and you see it cut to Tua and Tyreek Hill like laughing about something, and that set me off. I'm like, what the hell are we laughing about? We getting boat race right now. What are we laughing about? So I don't know, man. And it's
go back to the Bill Belichick, where Bill Belichick got him on the sideline, the whole team on the sideline, letting him have it, kicking and going off and slamming his notebook and everything in between. Where's that at? Where's that guy?
It's tough.
It's
tough.
They gotta be uncomfortable, and I just think that everybody is comfortable. It's not a place to grow in.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with you. Like I've said earlier, it's easy to lighten up as a tough coach, but if you're a light coach, you can't toughen up on the guys because they're not going to respond to it. So I've been a big Tua defender. I can't defend this season so far. I can't. Especially when Bryce Young is doing the same thing and I'm livid about it. I can't defend it. I can't. Only thing we can do is
been in the league longer.
Yeah. Look forward to the Jets game and hopefully Miami gets their first win.
No, I hope we get boat race.
By the Jets?
Yes. That like something has to change in that building.
Yeah, you're right.
To me, even if they win and the Jets put up 27 points, that's a loss. because the Jets shouldn't be. I mean, we should have a much better defense than them. We should have a much better team.
No,
We
we ain't
got
got
more
better
star
defense.
players.
Just have a good defense.
We got more star.
Just got good
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got a good defense.
we
I
have
was
more.
like,
We have more star players. We have more star talent, more star power. We should be a better team. However, we can't put it together.
Yeah.
It not only then now, but even back in 2023
Right.
when we had all the talent in the world, we couldn't put it together.
I'm pretty
We
sure
could
that
win
was
game. It was a moral victory.
my preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl. Wasn't that Money? I think
Yep.
2023.
and I laughed.
Yeah, it was. I want to say that
laughed
was
about it.
when y'all had that really good year. So yeah, I think that was the year I picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
The cheap motion took the lead by storm,
Yes.
and nobody knew what to do with it. They got Tyreek running and on the cornerback in the second. The cornerback didn't even have
No.
the chance to get in his back to them.
No.
The Tyreek was on him already. It was finished. And then we could run the ball. So we were running the ball. There's no way you could put two safeties 20 yards down the field. Couldn't do it.
And the icing on the cake
So-
is you had speed everywhere. Mostert was a
Yeah.
college sprinter. A-Chain was a college sprinter. We already know what Tariq did. We already know what Wild do. You know what I'm saying? It was just so much speed everywhere on that team. So, yeah.
Yeah. So literally, you could have kept Mostert. Problem is, he had two fumbles, and McDaniel got upset. I guess McDaniel got upset when he had some.
Yeah, he
beef,
found
and
himself in the
before you know,
doghouse.
he's phased
That
out.
next year. That next season, he was in the
Yeah, he found
doghouse.
himself in the doghouse. He got phased out.
Yeah. Which we knew he wasn't going to have a season like that, but I felt he would. It's like Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is not going to have a season like he did last year. I think he can still be obviously a great player and have a great season, but to recreate what he did last year, no. That would be wild.
He had fumble problems his first 2 years too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, only thing you can do is try to be optimistic. We're both all to a bad start. Like I said, my Panthers aren't looking good either, so I have no room to try to diss the Dolphins. All I can do is just say, hey, we have young players and hope we keep getting better.
Y'all have building blocks. We don't. Who we got? Chop Robinson. You know,
Chop looks good so far. Well, I'm not sure this
that's
season,
it.
but he's a good play. He's a good player. Yeah, he looked good last year. I'll say.
Because in a few years, Waddle's gonna be 30, Tua will be 30. You got no corners. Minka will be 30 in a few years. Jalen Phillips will be 30. Like you only got one building block, Chop Robinson, and a defensive tackle. And the dude, I haven't heard his name called a lot. So
I'm thinking to myself, I said, what am I thinking if I'm Minka Fitzpatrick? And we cannot stop not one play.
Yeah.
Not one play we can't stop. Josh Allen was going down the field before halftime. I think he was 100%.
Yeah, he converted. He didn't even see fourth down. He converted all his third downs. Yeah.
It didn't. The punter didn't come out to the second half.
Correct.
It was bad.
It was.
It was bad. I don't understand that kind of football. I don't understand. And
Well, all right, man.
that's what happens. That's Greer. You pull people off the street, so you're gonna put them at cornerback, and you're gonna get dusted.
That is true. That's a tough position, and I understand trying to put scotch tape on certain positions. Like we can try to put scotch tape on linebackers. If you got an athletic enough linebacker off the street, he's going to be hungry enough to where even if he messes up, he's going to be messing up going full speed and still find a way to make plays. Corner's tough, man. Corner's tough. Anything else you want to add, Money?
No, if your linebacker's bad, you gotta have a hell of a front four.
Yes. That's what the Eagles been getting away with. Their front seven has been sensational, and their secondary has been bad. They just got 2 rookie corners last year.
Yeah, but they didn't pull them off the street.
That is true. You're correct. They got some guys with some pedigree.
We got undrafted players. We pulled off the street. Nah.
It's not gonna work.
we got
And
Cam
so yeah,
Smith.
we got stormed up playing. I'm like, who college you came from?
Yeah.
Find out he undrafted and everything in between. Oh no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no,
Honestly, slight
no,
tangent.
no.
I can't even think of a good undrafted corner that like made a name in the NFL. Like off the top of my head. Maybe if I Google it, I'll see the name like, okay, yeah, he was good. But like off the top of my head, thinking about like right now, I can't think of one undrafted corner that made a name.
I can't
You
either.
know, safeties out there. I know Ryan Clark. Um,
But wasn't he more of a
he was a good
safety though?
safety. Was undrafted. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
safety.
see,
But as far as
I
corners,
can't think of a name. Like I said, maybe if I look one up, I'll see it. Be like, okay, yeah, him. But as of right now, I can't think of one. So I think that's very telling. Anything else you want to add, Money?
I think you need.
I'm good.
What'd you for the say, Kendrick?
I just think you need to have a second and third round pick. To
We
be a
do.
starting corner
Yeah.
at the worst. I think you start to get into the sixth and seventh round, and if you're gonna throw them in there at cornerback, it's not gonna work. They're your sixth and seventh round for a reason.
We do. Cam Smith.
Oh yeah, he can't see the field for
Where he
whatever
at?
reason. Yeah.
That's where we go back to the GM and we say, can he properly evaluate?
Because there's no reason he shouldn't. Storm Duck getting hurt. Cam Schiff should be starting right now. There's no reason Juju, who just got here, is starting. At least not right away.
No, Douglas. Douglas is starting.
Oh, they didn't give it to Juju? I thought they gave it to Juju. Okay.
No, they gave it to Douglas. That's even worse.
Yes.
So,
I think Cam Smith, he's in the doghouse right now. It's something he did internally. They're not talking about it. He must have probably went off on one of the coaches. He probably slapped the coach in the back of the head. I don't know what he did. But he did something. He in the doghouse right now. He's like on the injured. Um, I can't remember what he's on, but it's not an injury related situation.
and this was even when Flores was still there. He couldn't get on the field.
No. That was with Fangio.
Yeah.
Fangio.
Fangio, yeah.
He went in the doghouse with Fangio. The double moves. He susceptible with the double moves, and they kept hitting him on. He kept falling for him. And Fangio's like, yeah, nah, we can't play on this defense. From that point on, he didn't play.
That's tough, man.
We ain't got no cornerback.
Well, the good thing is
We almost lost all of them yesterday. They got injured in the game. I was like, well, that's it.
Oh yeah, there's nothing worse than
They're
getting
really gonna pull people off.
nothing
the street
worse
now.
than seeing the position you already light at get hurt. Oh my goodness, your heart started dropping. Like what's going on?
Yep.
I thought that. So they put a cornerback that was injured already
Back out there.
in the game. I can't remember what his name is.
Ethan Bonner.
Huh? Justin Bonner. He injured already. He got a hamstring injury. So he wasn't expected to play.
Yeah.
They threw him in there. They was like, we ain't got nothing else going in
That's
there.
like when Brock Purdy got hurt in the conference championship game. He's just out there. He can't throw the ball. He's just out there.
Yeah, he's just out there in the way. But he was in there for one play and they snatched him back out.
That hamstring with the tightened up on. That's what it was like. This is a bad idea, y'all.
No, let me think about this. Yeah, for sure.
But this was good. This was a good fin zone section. This is our longest one. It was. I feel like I got a lot of opinions out of y'all. I enjoyed it. Kendrick, I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to come kick it with us and give your Dolphins feedback as well as the other topics. We'd love to have you again. Money, as always, my brother. My favorite day of the week is doing this with you. We're going to start to wrap
Same
this
here, man.
one up. I'm Jace HD, a.k.a. 2 Wavy Jason.
I'm your boy F Money of Money.
Shout out to Kendrick, new guest. Hopefully I can come on more.
Oh man, for sure. This was fun. Kendrick will have like your I'm not sure if you're on social media, but whatever tag or whatever you want to support, we'll put in the video right next to your picture. Yeah, man, this has been great. Until the next one. Peace.
Take it easy, y'all.